for bringing us here today to gather for fellowship with one another. And Lord, thank you for bringing us here safely. And Lord, we want to remember the homeless and infirmed and those that are sick. And we want you to bring healing to their lives. And thank you, Father, for bringing us here together for this worship service this morning. And Lord, open your word to us and bring your Holy Spirit that we might be knowledgeable of your truth. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Today we're going to be talking about the book of Ruth. The reason I picked that, there's a couple of reasons, is that Mother's Day, the book of Ruth is basically a book of love, a love story. But I relate it to, how would you say, a relationship between a mother and a daughter. And a beautiful, great relationship. And it reminds me of always Mother's Day, the book of Ruth, because I connected with a mother-daughter relationship. In many respects, Ruth is the ultimate love story. It's a love story on several levels. A love story because Ruth falls in love with Boaz. That's the main plot line. Ruth is one of the most significant books of the Old Testament for the church. And it's interesting that the book traditionally is read by rabbis on the Feast of Pentecost, the very feast day upon which the church was born. It explains like no other in Scripture the role and mission of a kinsman redeemer, which we'll get down to that down the road here, kinsman redeemer. But the book of Ruth starts in the days of Judges. And if anybody's ever read the book of Judges, it was very perilous time. There was idol worshiping, sexual immorality, sacrificing to gods. Everybody did everything right in their own eyes. And it really looks like today. I mean, actually, we're living in that day right now. But it was very, very, very perilous time. But there's always, this story starts out in a little town, y'all know, Bethlehem. And that, to me, that's amazing right there, because in Bethlehem, great things come from Bethlehem. And of course, we know that our Lord was born there. And a love story. And like I said before, the relationship with the mother and the daughter, which relates to Mother's Day, which Ken did on Mother's Day last week, presentation of a sermon that was awesome. And I thought, I got mixed up. I thought, well, if I do this Sunday, this Saturday, then Sunday's Mother's Day. Well, I didn't look at the calendar seeing that Mother's Day was a week ahead. But I'm going to stick with it. In chapter 1, if you see your handout here, okay, how I did this is I broke it down in 4 chapters. Love's resolve, love's response, love's request, love's reward. And I broke it down because that's what it's really, really about, is love. In chapter 1, the family, there's lots of famine that was in Judea at the time. And famine was there. Now, if I'm mispronounce some of these names here.
Judea would have been the southern part of the
Yes, sir. But there was a lot of famine which was in the area. And Amalek decided to take his family and move to Moab. And Amalek means, the definition, God is my king. Now, I'm probably mispronounced that one, my tongue. So, him and his wife Naomi, which means pleasant, lived in Bethlehem. Because of a serious famine, they moved to Moab along with their two sons. Now, why they decided to get moved? Of course, it was a famine. But why Moab? I mean, it just that's the part that really don't make sense to me. The only thing my research said that it was greener over there in Moab. So basically, Amalek thought the grass is greener on the other side. Found out it's not. But that's what he thought, the grass was greener. So he pulls up all his family and moves to Moab. Now, after a while, then basically he dies. That leaves Naomi with her 2 sons. Now her 2 sons went ahead and they married. It's a Moabite wife. Now that was devastating to Naomi, of course. I mean, lost her husband, and anyone that's ever lost a spouse would understand that. So anyway, Mahlon and Chilion, her sons, marry Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah. Now her husband dies, leaves Naomi desolate, and then her sons die. Now, I sit back and I put myself, when I studied this, I've been studying for a month and a half. I literally put myself in her shoes. I really put myself into that scene on the humanity side. And I just sit back and I think, with Naomi, this had to be the worst thing that could ever happen. Because in that tradition, your husband, that's your provider. If something happens to your husband, then your sons, they become the provider of the family. Here she says she has no one. She's left with $2. So I'm sure that Orpah and Ruth comfort her as much as possible, but still yet her loss and her, you know what I mean? I can't explain what it would be like if I've never been through it. But I really just focused on that part for a little while, and it's, what she went through and the emotions that she had to go through. Well, after a while, here she is, that the famine in Bethlehem is ending. And so Naomi says, well, maybe I should go back. Because here she's lost all her sons, her husband. She said, I'm going to go back home. And that's great. I mean, the family ended. But here are her daughters. This is the part I really like here. Here are her daughters, Orpah and Ruth, decided, we'll go with you. All right, let's take a road trip. And they decided to go with her. What in an unselfish way, okay, Ruth. The way I see the story, they start out together, but then Ruth sits back, Naomi sits back and says, wait a minute. I can't do this to my daughter. I cannot put them through that. For one thing, they're going to a foreign land. In that foreign land, Israelites, the men, would not actually marry. They would find no husband because it's like it wasn't, God didn't forbid it, but it was socially forbidden to marry a foreigner. So here they would be in a foreign land, to not marry, and then they would be depending on Naomi for, you know what I mean? So Naomi unselfishly sits back and says, no, I cannot do this to my daughter. So basically she basically releases them and says, no. So I'll read this for you right here.
She was her daughter-in-law, right?
Yeah, her daughter-in-law. That's all she had was 2 daughters-in-law. So anyway, during those 10 years, things looked better in Bethlehem. So Naomi decided to go back home. She released the 2 daughters-in-law from any obligations to her, encouraged them to find new husbands since they were young. She urged the daughter-in-law not to follow her. Orpah ultimately decided to stay with her people. Now I got on there, I believe, here, that in Ruth 1, 6 through 16 here. 16. Then she rose, I'm just going to read this out of here. Then she rose with her daughters-in-law that she might return from the land of Moab. For she had heard in the land of Moab that the Lord had visited his people in giving them food. So she departed from the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her, and they went on their way to return to the land of Judah. And Naomi said to her 2 daughters, go, return each of you to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. sons. May the Lord grant you that you may find rest, each in the house of her husband. So basically Naomi's telling her daughter, go find you a new husband. Then she kissed him, and they lifted up their voices and wept. And they said to her, no, we will surely return you with you to your people. But Naomi said unselfishly, return, my daughters. Why should you go with me? Have I yet sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Return, my daughters. Go, for I am too old to have a husband. If I had said I have hope, if I should even have a husband tonight, also bear sons. So basically she's saying that even if she is able to bear a son, you know what I mean? It's too late. Would you therefore wait until they were grown? That's a custom that they had, if that could be possible. Would you therefore refrain from marrying? No, my daughter, for it is harder for me than you, for the hand of the Lord has gone forth against me. So here Naomi was desolate. She lost her husband, she lost her 2 sons, and she thinks the Lord is against her. I don't know, I can't feel that, how much emotion that would be. I myself, I can't. But I know there's some people that went through that. To where you lost everything, you think the Lord is against you, what do you have? Nothing. So she decides, let me at least go back to my homeland.
She hears that there's a family.
Well, she hears what it is that she hears that God has blessed Judah again. And God was, he did a lot of, during the book of Judges, I mean, he would punish him, then he would have mercy and punish him and have mercy. So at that time, in Bethlehem, he gave mercy, so she heard that while things were prosperous over back in her homeland. So she decided, of course, she has nothing there in Moab, let's go back there. Back to Bethlehem. Now in Moab, I sit back and I look at in Moab because I study a little bit of it. That was, of course, their descendants of Lot. Basically, his daughter, first son was named Moab, and they were lawless. They worship idols. I mean, and all this stuff was going on, immorality and stuff like this. So Naomi, you know what I mean, a woman of God, you know, it's a good thing for even I would, you know, he wants to go back. If I had nothing left in Moab, I would definitely want to go back to my homeland. But this is what amazes me here, is that here's her daughter Ruth. Now we come to Ruth, which this is the mother and daughter where I believe that they really click. Because here, Ruth and Oprah sit back and they was with their Naomi. They had to learn about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They had to, you know what I mean? Because that was instilled in their family. But only one decided that. And 114, they lifted up their voices and wept again. And Oprah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clung to her. Then she said, behold, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Return after your sister-in-law. So Oprah sits back and says, no, I can't do this. I can't give up my gods. I can't give up my family. And after that, you hear no more. It's like she just totally not exists no more. Because she decided to go back to her lifestyle, back to her God, back to her family. I'm not saying she didn't love Naomi, but yet her gods and her family came first. But Ruth said, do not urge me. This is to me a pivotal point of the book of Ruth. Ruth's statement to Naomi. I believe that God looked down on there and that was it. Wow, I can use this woman. And I'm going to read it here. But Ruth said, do not urge me to leave you or turn back from following you. For where you go, I will go. And where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. Thus may the Lord do to me, and worse than anything but death, part you and me. Those statements still give me chills every time I read them. Because here, Ruth has sit back all her life, worship these other gods. she's a Moabite. She's, you know what I mean? She's with her family. She, you know what I mean? For all her life, she's been trying to do that. But something about Naomi changed her. She really, really loved Naomi. And that statement right there was affirmation of God that your God will be my God, your people will be my people.
Amen.
I mean, that just right there, that's the pivotal of the whole story. And I believe that God looked down on that and thought, wow, I can use this girl. She's ready to do everything that she's ever known and follow her mother. Well, they get, so Ruth decides, okay, let me go back here. Sorry about that. When she saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more. Naomi said, well, she's determined, I'm giving up. Okay, I'm not arguing with it. So they both took off and went to bed. Now I sit back, and what I did is I took, what's this journey? How long is this journey? It's about 70 miles. So from Moab back to Bethlehem, 70 miles. That's like us walking from here to Sarasota. I go to Sarasota, I believe. But from here, but yet through desert, rough terrain, stuff like that. I mean, I can imagine that trip. So I sit back and I calculate, I would say it took them 3 days. You walk 20 miles a day, 20-some miles a day. In that rough terrain, it took them about 3 days, maybe a little bit longer. So they was also able to bond there too. But you got to sit back and think. They were going to a land with it. Ruth don't know nobody. Naomi hasn't been there for 10 years. You know what I mean? Everything is uncertain as they get ready to journey into this land. Everything is uncertain. It's like if we packed up and said, we're going to Atlanta, Georgia. That would be, you know, just out of the whim. That'd be so uncertain. We'd be worried. But one thing that I see in this is that with Naomi, faith led her every step of the way. Faith in God led her every step of the way. So they both went until they came to Bethlehem. It came about when they had come to Bethlehem that the city was stirred because of them. And the woman said, "Is this Naomi?" And she said to them, "Do not call me Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very, very bitterly with me. I went out full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why do you call me Naomi, since the Lord has witnessed against me, and the Almighty has afflicted me?" So Naomi returned, and with her Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, who returned from the land of Moab. They came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the harvest. So here Naomi is back there. She's totally desolate. God is against her. I mean, this woman has emotionally and physically and financially drained because she left Bethlehem 10 years ago full, which means she had her husband, they had everything. Went to Moab 10 years later, she comes back with nothing except well, they get there, and we're going to chapter 2 is called Love's Response. They get there, and Ruth decides to glean for food. Now, about gleaning, Deuteronomy 24:19 gives you an explanation of gleaning. A little bit about that. Ruth is gleaning. One of the values of the book is that to understand about the law of gleaning. The law of gleaning was a form of welfare, but I don't call it welfare myself. I'm going to tell you the reason why I don't. Because if you're on welfare, you sit back and you collect a check and you don't do nothing. But God is so great that in gleaning, okay, you had to actually go out to the fields and work. And that's how you fed yourself, you know what I mean, to go out there. You had to actually go out there, reach down, pick up whatever was left over. Now gleaning was to where if you own a field that your reapers, the people who harvest it for you, can only go through it once. A lot of you know that. You can only go through once. Whatever's left was there for the poor, the desolate, the mother, the widow, and the fathers was left there. And still yet today, in parts of Israel, that law still provides that they only go through that field once, and the rest of it is left over. Now, how they do it, I'm not sure, but they do give it to the poor, whatever's left over. So if you went through your grapes and your olive, you shook the olive tree, you know what I mean, and after that you left it alone, you know what I mean, all that. And then as you go through the barley or the wheat stalks, you know what was left over for the poor. I think God is amazing for that. I wish some of us would have that today. But if he was on somebody's land, he'd probably get shot and go out there and leave someone's field. But she's out there gleaning, and all of a sudden, the owner of the field, Boaz, looks at it and says, "Who is that?" That's where, you know what I mean, where I believe God just kind of like put a big bright light in Boaz's head and says, "Check out that chick over there, man." You know? Because Ruth was young, she's still young, she was very beautiful. And she meets Boaz. And that's where the other love story comes in between Ruth and Boaz. It so happened that Boaz was let me start from here. Okay, we went through gleaning here. So anyway, Ruth happened upon the field of Boaz, which means Boaz means in him the strength. He was one of the wealthiest landowners in the area. He was the primary leader among the men of the gate. He was introduced to Ruth by an unnamed servant. She also caught his eye because he instructed his supervisors to not let young man touch her, and he gave her protection. He also instructed them to drop handfuls of grain on her. Now what I never did understand, but yet it came back to me, why would someone want to touch her, but yet the sexual immorality that even in the little town of Bethlehem was a problem. And of course Boaz found out that she was Naomi, found out the story behind her and Naomi, and it just all those things, it seemed like he clicked with her. I mean, beautiful, she's young, she's hardworking, and it just clicked with her. So it happened that Boaz was a kinsman of Naomi's family, which is why this is important to us. We come back to the law of redemption, and when someone sold their property, they actually sold only the rights to the property, not the title. The title belongs to God. And believe it or not, in Israel, that still is a law today. It's still a law today. You really don't own property in Israel. It belongs to God. And I think that's amazing after all these years that it's still there. When Naomi, if you die, a kinsman of your family can go and pay the money to redeem the land. Naomi had sold her property 10 years before, so she sold the rights to the property. But now they go back, but since she was poor, she had no money, she couldn't buy it back. So a kinsman of hers would have the right to purchase that land from whoever he was using. It's called the law of redemption, which is Leviticus 25. But basically, a kinsman can sit back and redeem the land back for you. Okay? But there was clauses into that too. And we'll go there on that clause right there. Chapter 3 here. Love's request. Of course, we sit back and we know that Ruth has met Boaz. He invited her over for dinner basically, or luncheon, sit down and stuff like that. He threw out extra pieces of barley for her to take back, for Naomi and stuff like that. Cupid was playing, he had his eye on her. And Naomi knew it. Okay? So this is where Naomi plays the Cupid. You know women are like that. I'm not beating up on women like that. But they see a woman and they see a nice guy and you know what I mean? And they look good together, like this. And they start scheming in their mind, how can we get this? You know what I mean? So Naomi kind of did this with Ruth and Boaz. And I just think it's awesome. Turn to chapter 3. Read 1 to 4 there. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, "My daughter, shall I not seek security for you, that it may be well with you?" So Naomi's still thinking about Ruth. This is the mother and daughter relationship, still thinking about her. And now is not Boaz our kinsman, with whose maid you were? Behold, he winnowed barley at the threshing floor tonight. So Naomi tells Ruth, wash yourself therefore, and anoint yourself, and put on your best clothes, and go down to the threshing floor. Do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. So basically Naomi, of course Ruth, and it shall be when he lies down that you shall notice the place where he lies, and you shall go and uncover his feet and lie down, and he will tell you what you shall do. And Ruth says, and she said to her, is all that you say I will do. Now this is the threshing floor scene here. Now see here, Boaz, back here they're having the threshing. Some of you know what that is they take the wheat and they throw it up in the air, and the grains come down, and the chaff goes this way. Jesus talks about it. It's going to happen at the end. The good stuff comes, the chaff will fly away and get burned up. But anyway, that's that scene there. So it's basically a harvest time. So the men did not want to leave their harvest because of theft and et cetera, et cetera. So they would actually, the reapers and the owner of the field would actually stay with the grain, stay on the threshing floor. They would, of course, I guess they ate grain a little bit merry. So Naomi knew that this was going to happen. She knows what happens every year on that part. So she sent out Ruth. And I call this the threshing floor scene. So it's an interesting opportunity because Naomi understood all the background of this. And when she realized that Ruth had gotten upon the boat, she saw an opportunity because Ruth had put a bite on him to solve everyone's problem. So Naomi's already thinking, how can we solve this problem here? Amazing. He can get Naomi back to land she had forfeited years ago and give Ruth a new life. So, of course, Naomi's instructed what to do. That night, the men worked on the threshing floor. That threshing floor was the partial ground, typically on the south back, where there was prevailing breeze. I already explained that. They didn't throw it up in the air. And if they did it properly, the wheat would fall nearby and the chaff would fall further down the wind. The first pile was bagged, prepared for market. The second was burned as trash to get rid of the burn. All this could not be completed in one night, so the landlord and his key people typically slept by the grain. Naomi told Ruth to watch where Boaz was sleeping, and when it came dark, to lie at his feet. So Ruth sat back and she's watching Boaz. Once he lays down, she makes her move. This is a little bit bold. You know what I mean? It's a bold move on their part. And of course, Ruth really didn't understand the customs and stuff like that, like Naomi did. So you can imagine, I put myself into Ruth's shoes in a way. I'd be scared to death. She don't know what's going to happen. She don't know if Boaz is going to do something to her. I mean, this was all uncertainty on her part. But yet, her dedication, her belief in her mother-in-law, she went ahead and did this. I think that's amazing. More children would do that for the parents, it'd be a lot better today. So anyway, so Ruth quietly lay down and slept at his feet. When he woke up, now in the book where I say something startled him, something scared him. There's different versions on this, but I always sit back and wonder what woke Boaz up. I mean, he was say partying all that night, you know what I mean? Tired, during the day, during the harvest and all that. What woke him up? I believe the Lord did. I believe God put down something to startle him, to wake him up out of his slumber. When he woke up, he realized a woman was there. Ruth said, put your skirt over me. This is often misunderstood for those not familiar with the ancient custom. But basically what is it? Put your skirt over me, which means the bottom of his robe. The hem was a symbol of authority, similar to putting a badge of honor on a sleeve or stripe on a uniform. In that culture, stature and authority was represented by the hem of a garment. Those tassels that you see sometimes on a garment. That's why the woman who had the issue of blood in the New Testament felt that if she could just touch the hem of Christ's garment, she could be healed. God says of Israel, I will put my skirt over you. So that was a custom of theirs to wear. But also, meaning he puts his protection on Israel. There was no improper behavior implied in that book. Some people thought there was. There was some kind of funky stuff going on there, but there wasn't. Basically, what Ruth was doing was proposing to him. She literally proposed. Oh, I guess women do that today. Can you marry me? My wife almost did that. Hinted around. But basically, she sat back and she proposed to Boaz. And of course, in turn, that flattered him because he was older than what Ruth was. And I put it in, I think I skipped it. How old was Boaz? I'm thinking, the way I figured out, he was about 15 years older than her. So he was flattered because she could have went and got a younger guy. I mean, there was plenty of young men around, whatever. But she didn't. She was a very, very honorable woman, virtuous woman. He liked that. He seen what she did in the fields, going out there gleaning every day. You know what I mean? Just stayed by herself. I mean, those things would even attract any man. I mean, you know, and she was beautiful at the same time. So that's why the woman who, anyway, so there was no improper behavior implied in the episode. She was asking him to take her as a Levite bride and put the authority of his house over her. He was flattered because he was much older, because he had learned a lot about her. She had a good reputation. He wanted to do this, but there was a problem. And we're going into a problem here. There was a nearer kinsman than I, he said. But relax, we'll see how the matter will fall. Then he gave Ruth 6 measures of barley to take home. Now, why did he give her 6 measures of barley? Now, he could have gave her 2, 3, 8, twice 6. Every number, every word in the Bible has a reason. God put it there for a reason. If you study the Bible for a little bit on that, you understand everything has a reason. There's not one tittle tot that's out of place in that Bible. It's amazing, and I've studied intensely on that. But the 6 was a code to Naomi. Okay. Basically telling Naomi, he told her, bring this back to Naomi, that I will not rest until this matter is resolved. That was the code for Naomi. I will not rest. But there was a problem. There was a nearer kinsman than I, he said. But relax, see how the matter will fall. Now, the nearer kinsman, it don't say in the book of Ruth who that nearer kinsman is. But I kind of, now I'm not speculating here, but I kind of figured out that it was Naomi's husband, Elimelech's cousin. Okay, that's the best way I can get it, that they were cousins. So that's why that's a near cousin or uncle, because then we got Boaz, which was 15 years older. So he was the near kinsman. He was the one that basically could redeem the land for Naomi. So, but yet Boaz, he had a plan. This is where he started scheming in his mind here. In chapter 4, I'm going to go back to where love's reward. You know that Boaz was at the gate, which was like the city council. So Boaz took this in his own hands and said, well, I am going to go, I'm going to resolve this, but this is what I have to do. So he gathers the people, the gate, which is like our city council, I guess you'd say, where all everybody comes together.
Amen.
And told the near kinsman that Naomi had a piece of land to sell and needed a redeemer. The near kinsman said that it was no problem. So he was ready, his uncle was ready, I'm ready to go ahead and redeem the land. By the way, the man who does this also has to take Ruth as a bride. Whoa, wait a minute. Because they did not, the Israelites did not like to marry or definitely marry a foreigner, especially a Moabite, which is like a distant husband. But anyway, Boaz says, by the way, the man who does this also has to take Ruth as a bride. But the Naomi replied, I can't do that. I'll lose my inheritance. Now, maybe you can have, I can't figure out what was his inheritance. The only thing I'm thinking that he was already married, and if he'd done this, it would jeopardize what he had, the land he owned, because he was a wealthy person too. I never quite understood this. Does anybody know what that means?
There was just a legal deal they had set up from Jewish people.
Yeah, I realize that, but in his, in his inheritance, I looked at Stevie, you're my college, have you heard why that would hurt his inheritance?
I studied more New Testament and Old Testament, and all I can guess is that, because this kind of reminds me about the story where your brothers wouldn't, Judah and Tamar, that kind of reminds me about that, because it would, I'm trying to think about how they were related, how that would impact him, but if he, I'm not really sure how that would necessarily impact his inheritance unless it would affect, unless he meant it would affect his children.
I typed it in and I can never get it up.
Unless he meant it would affect his children, part of his children's wealth would have to go to the foreigner's child, and that kind of, which would probably make sense.
Let's talk about that.
We prefer not to spread.
That point there, let's talk about that. Well, anyway, he couldn't do that because they were in his inheritance, so he didn't want no part of it. So the near kinsmen, this is one of their rituals, their custom, took off one of the shoe and gave it to Boaz, a symbol of him yielding the opportunity and the obligation as the kinsman redeemer. So Boaz purchased the land for Naomi and purchased Ruth as a bride. And that's a term he used. He purchased the bride. So that's in chapter 4, Love's Reward. He purchased the land, all that was great. He's got a wife that he loved. I mean, it's just, and then they have a baby boy named Obed. I'm not pronouncing that right. Which is the father of Jesse. Jesse's, of course, is the father of King David, and then on the line down to Jesus Christ. There's one more thing that Boaz did. And this is where I come back to where you have faith in God. Even though you lose everything that you have in life, you keep that faith, God is going to restore you. So she lost her husband, she lost her sons. She has nothing. She comes back to Bethlehem and she has nothing. God intervened. And basically, he restored Naomi by Ruth. And I want to read, I think it's Ruth 4:14. It's what the women said to Naomi. And to me, this is another part of this book that just gives me chills. This is the women. Then the women said to Naomi, "Blessed is the Lord who has not left you without a redeemer today. And may his name become famous in Israel. May he also be your restorer of life and sustainer of your old age." Why that act between Boaz and Ruth? Naomi was restored. She lost everything, but she was restored. For your daughter-in-law, he may also be to you a restorer of life and a sustainer of your old age. For your daughter-in-law who loves you and is better than you, this is the most greatest compliment you can give. It's better to you than 7 sons have given birth to you. What she's saying, her daughter-in-law Ruth was better than Ruth still having 7 sons alive. Now that's a big compliment back there because, of course, sons, if your sons were your providers, if you have your husband, or you have 1 son, I mean, having boys back then was a great thing. But Ruth was better than 7 sons. What a compliment to give to your daughter. I mean, that is great. Then Naomi took the child, laid her in the bed, and became his nurse. And the neighbor women gave him a name, saying, "A son has been born, Naomi. So name him Obed, and he is the father of Jesse and the father of David." Sit back and close on this for an overview. Now we take a look at the book of Ruth from the perspective of a Dole, which is a kinsman redeemer. What are the requirements for a kinsman redeemer? Boaz became a kinsman redeemer. First, he has to be a kinsman. Second, he has to be able to perform. Third, he must be willing. And fourth, he must assume all the obligations. God has a kinsman redeemer for you and me. He has to be a kinsman of Adam. He must be able to perform. And he did. Because on the cross he said, it is finished. Now Boaz is the Lord of the harvest. He also is the kinsman redeemer. So Boaz is a type of foreshadowing of Jesus Christ. Naomi typifies Israel. She was out of the land through his redemption. She was brought back to the land. Ruth was a Gentile bride, a type of the church. In order for Ruth to be joined to Naomi, Naomi had to be exiled from her land. The near kinsman couldn't take Ruth. It was against the law for Israelite to marry Moabite. But what the law could not do, grace did. Incidentally, Ruth did not replace Naomi. They are different. They are distinctive. Israel and the church are distinctive. Different origins, different missions. Ruth learned the laws of Israel through Naomi, a Jew. We Gentiles learn the ways of God by understanding Jewish worship and Jewish scripture. We worship a Jewish king and a church composed of Jewish leaders, using a Jewish Bible as our authority. In the threshing floor scene, no matter how much Boaz loved Ruth, he had to respond to her move. And Boaz took upon himself to be her advocate. He was an intercessor. He was confronted. He confronted the nearest kinsman. You and I are also beneficiaries of the love story that was written in blood on the wooden cross, erected in Judea almost 2,000 years ago. And that is our kinsman redeemer, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He's asking to be the redeemer.
That was a mighty deal between Boaz and the uncle, because the uncle held the rights and to the woman, to Ruth. And he had first choice whether he wanted to accept Ruth in the land as the kinsman redeemer. That Boaz would have related to the kinsman redeemer of the uncle, and he wanted her. And he turned it down and had him his sandal in recognition that he was giving the rights back to Boaz.
Right, and the witness affair, he just took off the sandal and he put it down to Boaz and says, I don't want no part of it.
Right.
You know, then you have all the rights as a kinsman redeemer. I said, I have no part of it. So that was their custom back then there. This book has so much. It has love, has grace, has mercy, has relationships between a mother and daughter. There's so much to learn. There's so much more. I could probably go on forever on this. There's so much more that I've actually learned digging into it. We get a 2-part series on that. But what I learned is out of Bethlehem, a great thing happened, okay, between Boaz and Ruth, between Ruth and Naomi. And 2,000 years ago, the ultimate love story came out of Bethlehem. Is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And to him is our kinsman redeemer.
Amen.
Close this in prayer.
I can do that. Our blessed Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this again. An opportunity to share in your word, to learn through the scripture that, Lord, that as we meet those, again, end of me type things in our lives that we don't understand, but Lord, there's a blessing in the end that we receive. That we have a kinsman redeemer, that Lord, that desires us to be with him, that he can anoint us and cover our sins, that we may share in eternity with him. Lord, we just ask your blessing upon Neil here today that brought us your word, and Lord, may you continue to inspire him and each one of us, that we would know your word and take it out into the world, that others may know of your love and your grace for us, and for them, that Lord, we could all be part of your family. We ask, Lord, you just hear our prayers, and we ask for your mercy and your grace. As we lift this prayer up to you in Christ's name.